said you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Hi, I'm Gail Rubenstein, the founder and CEO of a company called Retail Resilient, social selling for the car industry. And we help auto dealers, auto agencies, and vendors in the auto industry sell more cars, service more cars, and make more money using our social selling strategy. That includes TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and anything else you can think of. So if you're looking to invest thousands and make millions, we're definitely the social selling company for you. Like I said, who said you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
If you run a service drive, you know these days first impressions matter. But when your advisors are tied up with inbound phone calls, they tend to neglect their other, more important duties. And did you know 75% of all service calls are frequently asked questions and routine requests? The average dealer misses up to 30% of inbound calls, adding up to a ton of missed service opportunity and increased customer churn. 68% of callers actually go elsewhere if they can't get through, which means you could be losing $60,000 to $70,000 every month in service revenue simply from missing calls. Introducing Brooke.
Hi there.
Your best service scheduling assistant. Brooke is the first intelligent digital voice assistant to answer, handle, and appoint all of your inbound service calls. Hiring Brooke means absolutely no call goes unanswered, boosting your customer satisfaction and reducing your overhead costs. And talking to Brooke is like talking to a friend.
Necessary, whether to a service advisor, roadside assistance, or a live agent. And I can do it without missing a beat.
You really do check all the boxes. Book with Brooke today.
Everybody wants to be part of a bigger story.
We're a small company, but we're going to change the whole industry.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. It's actually officially afternoon. I've been looking at my watch all morning here going, oh, no, I gotta say good morning. So we're awake and we're here in the North Hall of the NADA, or NADA, as people talk about, and 2022, where we're live and we're seeing people. We're not doing this, covered our faces with masks, and God willing, we can keep doing that. Welcome to the AutoHub show from the Poly booth here at NADA, and we are here interviewing a very good friend of mine who I just met like 8 minutes ago, but about 2 years ago we met, and I've been telling everybody that, oh, you're not 4 inches tall. Everybody knew I tell it.
You are taller than you are sitting down.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
For me, like, I think that's one of the blessings of the pandemic, that the reach got farther.
Yes.
We may not have met.
We would never have met. We would be. What's a guy from Vancouver, Canada, going to meet an HR person in Sarasota, Florida?
That's true.
And of course, time to introduce her. This is Sandy Zanino, who is a HR automotive like guru. That's like a capital G. She is from Sarasota, Florida, as I told you. And Sandy, please introduce yourself like we do in the show and tell everybody about yourself.
Well, you were doing a really good job there.
Thank you.
I'm Sandy Zanino, and my company is called Innovative Auto HR, IAHR. And there's some friends. It's so much fun to see friends here. And I help dealers protect their profits through compliance, training, culture building. And I'm also a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant as well.
You know, every time I go to say that, I get tongue-tied. Diverse, but I can't say it.
Well, you can shorten it and just say DEI.
DEI. Oh,
DEI or DEIB.
Earnhardt Enterprise comes on their video here earlier, so you can't really say that. But yes, I understand that. I also can't say Sherman Shishini, so that's a problem.
I'm not going there.
No, you're not going there. So Sandy, we've had a lot of conversations about HR, and one of my favorite things to pick on in the car business, even though I try to be positive, is just how we view HR. And Ian Nethercott, my partner in the AutoHub show, who unfortunately isn't here because he's busy working. Can you imagine that? Him and I always talk about that the shows that get the least amount of views and listens are the HR shows. And yet it's such a big area. We talk about this all the time. You know, the biggest single expense of a dealer is their people, and they don't pay attention. Why do you think that is?
Well, you know, in a way, I kind of understand it. You know, HR normally, we're very detailing, and while the devil is in the details, it's boring. It's not, you know, it's hard to sexy HR up, right, when you're talking about compliance. Plus, dealers are weary. They're weary from having to deal in this country with the FTC, with the 23 different compliance laws. By the time you get to HR, there is a part of me that understands it. I've been in this industry long enough to get that. However, you know, human resources for me is important. And one thing I always like to say is, you know, if you manage people, you're a human resources manager, whether you realize it or not. And it can make it break.
Well, I was with a dealer group that the HR was the CFO, and then they went through the generational change, and they decided to become more corporate. And they brought in a new ops person, and this person had deep experience as a family-owned business. And what ended up happening was they, hello, Jeff Williams, how are you? Sorry, I had to do that. They hired an HR person. This person was cleaning house. And the HR person's job was to handle the house cleaning. And that's got to be the worst thing you could do, wouldn't it?
Well, I think it's the worst thing that any manager can do. It's the hardest thing, one of the most difficult things. It's never easy whether it's a warranted termination, especially when it's warranted, right? It's hard. It's a hard thing to do. So, is there a question in there other than that it's a hard thing to do, or is it just that HR is often here comes HR, somebody's losing their job?
Well, you know, it was the case of when they went to a formal HR was when they decided they were getting rid of people, and they did it in a way that how would I put it? They upset them so much that people were quitting. And is it fair? First of all, that really isn't HR, is it?
No, and I would have to know, like, one of the things about being an HR professional is that I have learned to ask questions, who, when, where, why, what, and really get what's happening. So I couldn't answer what was going on in there. You know, however, human resources for me, you know, HR is, I need to build trust with the people that I work for and also the people that I work with.
Well, you know, in my opinion, that term is I don't know. It's human resources. It's this term that, again, like you say, isn't very exciting. But you know, if you came up with an exciting name, it would be more exciting.
Well, we've been trying to come up. I mean, HR is kind of in a identity crisis. I think you hear a lot of different names for HR. The people, either the head of people or the culture and people, director of culture and people. We're trying to come up with different names, but in the end, it's human resources, right? So it is what we do. It's what we do. You know.
It's actually funny to see all these titles now. I just had Don Brady here, and Don Brady is the Vice President of Dealer Success at Ship Your Car Now. And in the old days, we called that just VP of Sales. You know, and what he does is sales, but it's like way more because he's actually trying to prove success. Switching gears a little bit, I'm asking everybody this: what's the one thing you really want to glean from the show?
Well, other than being really excited to see people that one haven't met, right, like you. Uh, some people just walk by, so people that I haven't seen in a long time. I am looking forward to seeing some new vendors.
Yeah.
And really, it's just about networking for me. You know, can't miss the parties too. There are some fun parties at MLB.
Well, it's very funny because we mentioned earlier that one of the recommendations to people here is don't sign contracts at parties. Sorry, everybody, but
Don't sign
contracts
contracts with
at
your
parties.
drink team, ever, whether it's at a party or not.
Well, how many people have you met that they discovered they bought stuff and they have no recollection?
I don't know.
Lots for sure. So, if you were setting up the show, what would be the biggest booth you would pick here? If you were in charge of the show.
If I was in charge of National Auto Dealers Association show, and what booth would I pick for?
What would you make the biggest booth? What would you choose to be the biggest? By the way, I'm purposely asking you weird stuff just because I know how.
Yeah, this is like a weird question.
Totally.
Well, I'm not going to be selfish and say, well, we'll make it, some kind of HR booth.
Why?
Well, because if I'm putting on a show, I need to think about what the whole, what's the end game of the show.
Well, wouldn't you want to have a booth here with a play on, with somebody letting staff go, with actors and everything, and you.
So you're talking about a stage where we're doing improv, really?
Improv, exactly.
That could be fun. We've got a player right here.
Yeah, he'd be really good. He'd be good at doing. He's a very good Spanish speaker. Even though he's slow.
Yeah, he's got some good talents going on with his.
Well, everybody does. If you're in the car business, you have to have hidden talents.
Well, this is true.
That's right.
He's got some pretty good accents going.
Oh, exactly. You wouldn't know that
his
he's
natural
Scottish.
Scottish accent.
Exactly.
To Texas.
What? Tell me something about you I don't know. What's your business I don't know?
We talk a lot about it.
Oh no, I know a lot.
Well, that a lot of people don't know that I also recruit. Right? I help dealers, I help all kinds of employers find, attract, and most importantly, help them retain new talent, right? Which is, in the world we're in right now, is a huge thing. The retention is important.
Well, retention is another one of those keywords. And we talk about this all the time in this business. It's this thing, we need to retain our staff. We don't like to hire people. I hated going through the interview because I found myself saying the same thing over and over again. And I actually went down the rabbit hole of really weird questions. Now, I don't ask really weird questions here, but I'd ask these people things about somebody coming in with their son, and they see this lifted truck, and it's got a 600 horsepower engine in it. They know if he buys the thing, he's gonna be dead the next day as he flies off the cliff. The parents say, don't sell it to him. What would you do? And then you look at people you're giving me right now. But retention, how do dealers legitimately retain people?
Well, this is the part that we do talk about, only I don't really put it out there very much that I do recruit. The part that differentiates it is that I help employers kind of not create, because there is already a value proposition, but more figure out exactly what it is, help communicate that to their hiring managers so that they can articulate that value proposition to your candidates to give them a reason for coming to work for you, right? So it's really kind of like marketing, but it's very, very important. And then it has to be authentic. There's a lot more that goes into it, and the employee value proposition itself than I could answer in a 30 seconds. But it's super important for your retention, right? It has to be authentic.
You got 30 minutes if you want. We can sit here all day.
Well, I mean, just think about values, right? Like most dealers have their core values either on their website or on their, So those values become a part of the proposition, right? And come up with stories, right? So your managers, let's say your values are integrity, service, growth. Those are actually core values from a dealer that I worked for many, many years ago, right? So, like, I'll give you an example of one of the things that we did. I implemented a we call onboarding orientation, right? But it was the first day for every employee, not just for sales, not just for your profit creators, but for every new employee. And part of what I would talk to them about is number one, I gave them a little card with those values on it. And here's the core values for XYZ. And then I told them some stories about how those things showed up on a daily basis, right? So they know what the company is all about. And it started them off on a great foot, right? And there are other things that are attributable to their very, very low turnover, like 30% turnover, which is super low in our industry, right? I'm not saying that it was just about me, but it definitely did seem to be.
A lot of people view 30% retention as good number.
Right.
Yeah. So how do we beat the elephant in the room of our business? How do we get away from this thing that we keep falling into with people?
I don't know that it's an elephant in the room because that's something that, like, that phrase is when it kind of would indicate something that's there that you don't talk about. We talk about these things and have been talking about things since 1998. I started this industry in 1998, and still the chatter was about turnover. How do we find good talent? How do we keep that talent, right? We've been talking about it for a long time, so I don't know if that's the elephant that's in the room, because we are talking about it.
How do we stop talking about it? Talking about it and start doing it.
We stop talking and we take action, right? And we really, and it's not rocket science, and it doesn't have to be big world-changing things. You can make one little change, one small step, right? It just starts small.
So, did you lose your?
Yeah,
Not a problem.
I gotta say, the coffee bar, what an awesome thing.
They did a heck of a job.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, again, we're at the Poly booth here, which used to be Dealer Policy. And now it's Poly, which is a much better thing. I'm just waiting to find my Poly pocket. So, this business has changed so much over the years. Yet this seems to be the one thing we don't want to keep that we're keeping. And where did it come from? Why do you think it's still here without attacking anybody? Why do you think the issue with people?
Why do I think what is still here?
Why do you think our issue with people is such a problem? On the dealership level, especially. Well, certainly this one's better.
Well, I think that what we need to do, I think that we have these glasses on, right? And we look at employees in a certain way. Some of that is generational, right?
Yeah.
I believe, right? Like my generation, Gen X, I grew up with a belief that, number one, if I work hard, if I put my head down and I work hard, right, I would be rewarded. That wasn't necessarily my experience, right? So we also are an industry it's an industry that was built by white males for white males. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Now there's the elephant.
I said, don't attack anybody.
I'm not attacking anybody. I don't do that at all.
Yeah.
They've built an amazing industry, right? Like, I love automotive. I wouldn't still be here if I didn't love this industry, right? I see the greatness of this industry.
Yeah, I've had lots of opportunities to leave it, and I still keep coming back in different forms, but I'm coming back.
Right. Well, I mean, just think about that small thing. For many people, for many men that look like you, putting your head
You
down,
mean good
working
looking
hard,
guys?
that's
Come
it.
on, tell me the truth.
Putting your head down, working hard will be wasn't necessarily my experience, because I work my ass.
But I have to tell you something. It isn't necessarily true because, you know, I came from you work hard. I started in the business when you were, you know, you got there when it opened and you left when it closed. And if it closed at 9, it closed at 9, it closed at 11:30, it closed at 11:30. And I saw and I experienced many people that came in and say, yeah, you know, we're going to go a different direction. Thanks very much, bye. And I've seen a framework of experience.
Well, that's where I was heading actually, like that generational thought of, you know, on time is late, right? Like get there early, be ready to work, get there, just do what you're told. Don't make any waves.
Don't do what I do what I say.
Or, well, that's an aspect too,
Yes.
right? That's more, to me, that's more of a leadership thing, right? The way I think about work. So when we look at the generations that are entering our workforce today, you know, Gen Z is a great big generation that's entering the workforce.
Yeah.
Millennials are a huge generation. They are the largest cohort in the workforce, and these two generations will make up. I'd have to look it up right now, but it's going to be like 70 to 75% of the workforce. Right? They want something different. They think about work differently than
Well, and the fact is that many of these people that I read, you know better than me, is they're not looking to be in one job, forget one employer, one job for their life.
Well,
They
it's
want to do a
interesting.
whole bunch of other things.
That's interesting. Like when I was just talking to about a recruiting job that I was doing. I sent a resume and job number. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not job jumping. We're talking about 20 years with 5 jobs, right? Which means, yeah. So, but
Pardon me a second, that's your
we need to change how we think, right? Like my 20 years, more than 20 years, I had 2 jobs, right? Like I'm the perfect candidate. Like I have staying power. I'm there. However, moving, if you're not moving up, right, people are going to move. And so we need to also think about creating
I agree. You know, and it's
meaningful
and it's funny. This business is very hard for that because there's not a lot of, you know, if you take a salesperson, you take a tech, and first of all, a technician, they train their whole lives to that point to fix cars, and it's a little tough for them to move up. The only time they think about moving up is if they hurt themselves and they can't turn them into, or in some cases, the technology is something they just don't want to deal with. But when you get that age group, that's a big challenge for us because we have only, in my opinion, we have 2 groups of people. We have the 20-year people and we have the 1-year people. And you know, it's a case of, well, you know what they do with the 1 year, they had 1 year here, they had 1 year there. Sometimes you meet them and the reason they left wasn't their choice.
I think it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen as the market normalizes, right? Because when I think about sales, and I've actually talked to a couple of the others who they have new salespeople new to the industry, and they're so much money, and so
they don't know what they're doing.
Right. And, I'm not going to go into that part of it, but what will happen? You know, will there be a great resignation coming up from those people who we have trouble attracting people to our industry? It's not all about money. So I think that's going to be put to the test.
Although tied up with money is success. If you brought into the business, you're not trained the skills, because I do believe talent isn't something that can't be trained. And I've tried to hire people with talent and hopefully build that talent and training. But when they hire a body that comes in because they now have openings, and that person just stands there and takes a call, and the first person that they get a hold of buys a car. And they only have the green one in with the red interior, and they buy it. They get 10% MSRP. They pull down this huge commission. They sell a Corolla and they get $1,000 commission. And then all of a sudden they start getting cars in. And now they have to start competing. We've had a couple people on the show, dealers that are scared witless about what their salespeople are going to do, what their teams are going to do as inventory builds up. And then they're going to have to pivot from, well, you can put your name in, or here's that one, but it's 10 grand over MSRP, to what do I have to do to earn your business? So, you know, that's, I don't think we're going to have a great resignation. I'm afraid we're going to have a great jumping the ship, be it resignations or something else. I'm not sure what word.
Exodus is what you're.
Oh, Exodus! I like that. I never thought about that.
You know, I would if I had a client who talked to me about that, I would probably recommend that they start being open with their staff about their fears. Like here's what's on there. You know, if these are new people, they don't understand our industry. It's like normal.
They have no idea.
So,
and then they discover.
So they've been sold, right? You know, they need to understand. You know, here's how you're going to make money going forward. Right? Like here's your simple pay plan. Not a big one.
Oh my gosh! Well, that's a whole other.
Here's your pay plan that you can understand, that your neighbor who's never worked in car business can understand.
Yes.
That's right.
Well, yeah. we all think, well, that's paying commission. And that's the thing you hear about the new generations, Gen Z. They don't want to sit there and work 12 hours for a $200 paycheck. Right?
They do not. Yeah. I don't think anybody wants to work 12 hours for a $200.
Here, I'm going to tell you the funny thing. And then we're gonna close and leave it to you to like say the last thing. Yes, and she goes, thank God, because Jeff's asking weird questions again. But when I started the business, and I won't tell you when, because it was a long time ago, the flat commission was $200 minimum. And guess what it is today in those places?
No, it's funny, but
Well, depending where you are, it's 100. I mean, I sold Toyotas, and we sold Corollas at 3,900 Canadian, and you got 150 for the Nerd. You got 200 for every other, and you never got more because you got paid in gross. Now everybody, most of the people I see, it's at 200 your minimum. Little tough back then. Rent was $600 a month. Nothing's changed. Here's the funny part.
a lot of years, not that you're going to say how many.
With people, right?
Wow.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm happy. Yeah. Good you. I'm happy to be wrong. I'd like to be wrong because I open my mouth as I think. But nevertheless, thank you so much for coming here. I really appreciate it. Jordan, I'm so happy to meet you. I cannot wait. If somebody asked me the number one person that I wanted to meet here, it was not Michael Strahan, it was Sandy Zanu.
Oh, I did not pay him to say that.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure.
And I know I'm going to bump into you. Pleasure's always. Guess who's here?
Ian's here.
It's on recording now, but we'll just start. Guys, just tell me when you're good to go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to NADA 2022 at the lovely Poly booth, formerly, we don't tell that old name. And I've got Jeff Polo from the AutoHub show coming to you from the Great White North, actually here in Vegas. And I have two gentlemen who I've heard a lot about, just met today, and two totally different people you could meet from totally different sides of the business enjoying NADA. First of all, we have John Brady from Ship Your Car Now, and Peter Caruso from Vision AST and all sorts of other stuff. And gentlemen, please say hi, say a little bit to everybody here, and welcome.
Well, I'll start, sorry. I'm Don Brady. I'm the Vice President of Dealer Success for Ship Your Car Now, and I'm very excited about being here at NADA, meeting a lot of friends, and reuniting with a lot of friends from NADA 2020. Very excited about the show.
Jeff, and I'm Pete Carrison with Vision AST. We're an analytics reporting platform on automotive and power sports. It's great to see everyone in person again, that's for sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a little different down here. Down here, you're a lot more open than we are up at home, and we're opening, but it's a little interesting there. You see people, you go, oh, I know that face. I don't know those eyes anymore. But Don, what's the number one thing that you're looking to get out of the show, other than a lot of business? And you know you're going to get way more business.
Well, I'm actually, as crazy as it may sound, is I'm not out here to ask for business. I'm actually out here literally just to see my friends and what I consider family from social media, and obviously expand on the relationships. I mean, that's really what I'm after, is relationships, and ultimately business happens.
Oh, yeah.
If you take care of people, and it just comes around and takes care of you too.
Sure. I actually had somebody tell me that had been to earlier ones, their dealer, and he says he gets home, and 2 weeks later, the CFO comes to him and says, "What is this? I mean, asked us to pay for something." He goes, "I don't know." And then he's got the sales manager comes to him and says, "What is this platform? I got these two guys showing up to do an install." And so of course they show up. What about yourself, Peter? What's your number one takeaway you want to have here?
It's a relationship thing. I've talked to a lot of people all day long on the phone. It seems every time we meet with sense. In fact, the first two meetings today were, why are we doing more business? Why am I not giving you more business? And when you come to these events, you reconnect and things really advance. So just a lot of facing that.
Well, it's definitely about relationships. I don't know how many people that I've met who discovered that they're actually big taller than 4 inches. Because of course, when you happen to the stream, and then you walk up and you go, as you walk by them, you go, and then everybody goes and looks at the name tag. And John, so you built this great presence. You and I were talking earlier about becoming an internet celebrity. And, I actually do hear that Wayne Newton's going to be standing over there and asking you to be on stage with him today. Seriously though, but you built quite a presence, and part of that was from your drive across America, wasn't it?
It was actually Charge Across America.
Charge Across.
I sparked my fleet, and Charge Across America actually approached me, and I had the opportunity of doing a cannonball run style race from New York City to Los Angeles, California. With a twist, we couldn't go over the speed limit, but we were also driving fully electric vehicles, so charging stations, flying the distance, finding where you're going to charge. We weren't allowed to charge overnight, so it was unique. There was some very strict guidelines, but it was a on camera all the time, which was very unusual. I had a cameraman in the back seat, I had a camera right in front of my face, all the way across the country, with someone that I had never met before until the beginning of the race. But I learned a lot about the infrastructure in our country and how not ready we are yet for fully electric.
So what you're telling me is you suffered range anxiety.
There was moments of sheer terror that goes along with that. Range anxiety is real. It really is real.
So they didn't have a pickup following you with a battery? Just kidding.
No, not really.
So speak about range anxiety, Peter. Analytics world is all about that sort of thing, correct? And it isn't the exciting part of the car business. So, it's generally the first 4 letters, which I will not repeat, because some point this will be broadcast somewhere and people are listening. But what is the most exciting thing about analytics?
Well, the exciting thing to me is our passion is taking data. It's taking it and making it digestible, so you have it's fun to go to a dealer or a provider or agent and help them spot opportunities to grow. See a bump every time you provide information. So that's really what to me. I did it at the dealership level for myself and then dealer principal for years, and I'll be able to bring it everywhere and make it really simple with a really nice user interface like that. It's just rewarding. You open people's eyes to what's really happening, taking the emotion out of it.
Sure, by all means. Now, the question is this. Earlier, Glenn Lundy was here with my colleagues in another broadcast. I won't mention their name, they're too cool. But seriously, he mentioned Saturday morning sales meetings. How do you make analytics exciting for salespeople on a Saturday morning?
You just have a leaderboard. here's where you stand, there's 15 salespeople, and your number is 14. What do you do to change something? Competitive group of people. So that's easy. You don't even really need to talk about it. You just post the numbers and you let the competitive nature of salespeople.
But how do you get them to understand KPI?
That's a good question. And, that's the battle. And that's kind of how we've changed our model, frankly, is we were providing intelligence that was very intuitive to me, but not everyone knows what to do. So we kind of added to our team with people that came from the F&I side of the business that actually took the data and made it actionable and made decisions and trained with it. So we're bringing that perspective beyond just here's our platform, here's our knowledge, and here's our ability to coach it through.
Perfect. And Don, what's your opinion? What should dealers be looking for? Because ultimately, this is a dealer show. I haven't seen a lot of dealers yet. It is over. Too many of them were out last night. But what do you recommend a dealer to do to get the most out of the show? It's big, it's in 2 different halls, you got to walk.
Well, I actually talk about that. And when I think about it, as I had my general manager hat on. I used to come to these shows as representative of the dealer. It's tremendous. It's overwhelming. What my recommendation is, this is going to probably go against a lot of what people out here are wanting to do. I don't know that I would recommend signing any contracts. We're actually really, the idea is spend the time with the booths that you're interested in what they're offering. Really truly listen to it. Maybe hit it once and then walk around and come back and hit it again. And then take the time to digest what you're looking at. So I know in my role, I have obviously Don Brady Consulting Inc. and then I've got the Vice President of Dealer Successorship now. And what I do for dealers is everybody's talking about Carvana and Rowan. I actually can help our dealers become Carvana or Rowan. I give them the shipping button on their cars. The customers can push a button and get an instant quote to ship the car from the dealership to their house. And I don't charge the dealer anything. So come in here with an open mind there, because the guys that are saying that the internet's bad and it's going away, or that Carvana is just going to go into business and people aren't going to buy cars online, not really true. They're actually doing this.
Well, it's very funny. I'm surprised. It's a great term, I'm surprised, but so many people are saying the same thing you just said. The internet's going to go away. Maybe they didn't think of what we went through. What's the same thing, same question for you? What's your recommendation for a dealer here? Because, of course, all of us are ex-dealers. We're trying to figure out why we love it so much. We are ex-ones, but what's your recommendation?
Yeah, I think if you find yourself roaming around a lot, so I always think look at your stores, your dealership, what are our primary needs, and how do you find a solution for two of our biggest challenges, and then try to find something new that you can exist to focus on, 2, maybe 3 needs you need to address. Spend your time there, and then you're going to stumble across something new. Don't try and see everything.
Well, it's funny. We have a lot of trainers in this business, and they train in all sorts of. I wonder if we should become trainers and train the dealers how not to buy things, because frankly, dealers are salespeople, and even if they've come up from admin, from that fixed ops or anything of that sort, they become salespeople, and salespeople are the easiest sales. And what one thing do you want to see here? What is one person, one product, one customer that you want to meet here? Yes, I know you're not going to try and sell them, but who do you want to build a relationship with?
Well, this may sound crazy, but I was real excited about the first group I visited is Paul. So a lot of these folks that deal with policy are good friends, from Travis to Ryan to Mike to Greeny. So I mean, really, this is the first group I made it to of the show. It's where I want to go after I finish this podcast. I'm going to be back over talking to these guys. But it's and I'm going to do that because there's a lot of people that I want to see. Melanie Gordon actually walked by, said hi. I had to find her. Right when I got on the podcast, she was walking by smiling. So I'm looking forward to meeting her. But I'm really just looking forward to meeting all my friends and continue this relationship, because most of my business has come to me because of social media, and I'm very thankful and blessed for that. people refer, all my dealer partners, all these partners here, they refer dealers to me. That's how I ended up helping with you. So I think that's the big thing.
I just wanted to meet Don Brady. I heard he was going to be here. Unfortunately.
Well, that was my number one, man, because I've been following him for a long, long time, and it's funny, you know, when you take a look, you're a different person than you are on there. Because you are on there is kind of goofy. Here, you're.
No, I'm actually kind of goofy.
No, no way, no way. So you mentioned, it's very interesting. You mentioned Melanie, and Melanie and yourself, and so many people here that we can actually throw these names on and become celebrities. Literally, is it a good thing? Now, I know it's good for your business, but would it be good for you? You know, we got you on there doing TikToks and stuff, and I don't know about that, but you know, what is it about that, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, the people that say that I'm an automotive celebrity, I think it's a little boring. I'm just me. That's when I'm on social media. I'm just being myself. But I mean, it's kind of neat. Like, I mean, I still get starstruck. I mean, the first time I met Melanie, I was starstruck, and I'm sure I will be. This will be the second time I've met her. I will be then too. But it's weird because as I've been doing the social media thing, and I go into a car dealership, I had one that I was in West Virginia. Salesperson literally ran across the showroom and picked me up off the ground, and then I'm so excited. I want to come out and see my van and take pictures, and then. But then he took me to his general manager and said, "This is Ron Brady, the guy I was telling you about. We need to do all of our shipping through him." And I've been shipping ever since. So for me, being recognizable is not a bad thing. I don't want to become infamous. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I just want to. I want people to realize that who they see on social media is who I truly am. When I do a video and I stutter or I stumble with my words, I do one take. So if I mess up, I mess up. That's who I am. I'm human. So there's people that I've seen that are somewhat phony. I don't ever want to be that guy.
Yeah. So do you have plans to become an internet celebrity?
I had no plans.
Why not? A good guy like you, and you know.
I'll stick to this kind of stuff when I'm invited, but no celebrity.
Yeah, and you know, but it's funny how the power of that, because you know, whenever we have a show, we every Monday on Zoom, of course, and live on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Nice one.
Yes, thank you very much. But we find that we get people on who you know, through me and my partner, and there's all sorts of people, and there are people that come on and go, "Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate you thinking of me." And I think, that's great. That's super. I just feel superb about somebody thanking us and liking to be here. So it's very true. You mentioned walking into a dealer, and the dealer backgrounds, but it always drove me crazy. It drives me crazy when I walk into a dealer. I don't have anything to promote to a dealership or anything like that. But if I walk in, and the number one thing that bothers me, the number one thing that bothers me when I ran dealerships, is walking into the showroom and being totally, utterly ignored. And a fellow that I'm connected with on LinkedIn made a post the other day. He was looking for a car for his wife, Michael Cirillo. And he sent out some leads. I think he said he sent out 5 leads. Got 2 autoresponders and 3 ignores. Then he decided to expand it. And I think in the end, he put out 50. And almost no reaches. He did everything. Gave phone numbers, gave everything. How are we going to get around this? And it's not leads, it's not walk-ins. How are we going to get around this as a business? How are we going to get it that we sell more cars? F&I companies make money, shippers make money, insurance companies make money. How are we going to do this? Because it's getting too easy right now.
The first thing that comes to mind is right now with the lack of inventory, and there's not that same volume. So salespeople, BDCs, they work their pay plans. So everyone that walks in is going to buy whatever they can find from close to suiting them. There's some laziness about it. You know, you had a sell 20, 30 cars and have to hustle a little bit. And I was like, oh, that's great. That's good. Buyers. I just saw that laziness. And when I was in dealer group, our dealer principal, someone before I had my own office for our software company, I was working at the dealership in the showroom, and I was, if 5 seconds went by, I was waiting for the dealer principal to climb on my shoulder and tackle somebody, just lose his mind every day, greet him at the door. So we were a little different. That was amazing how often salespeople would take that same meeting and still not put their head down on the computer. And how you overcome it, I think, is hiring the right people and constant training. Really not accepting anything but top notch service. It's hard to do. But you make examples of people that aren't doing a good job, and you reward the ones that are doing it. Make examples as well.
Sure. Well, you know, I used to have a dealer, and he said his saying was this: was a good manager is a good chatter. And in so many cases, everybody's busy doing things, and even in the biggest dealerships, everybody's multitasking. And your managers have got their heads buried in the computer, your salespeople have got their heads buried in the phones. A customer, they get the lead. And in the old days, I go back to having rotary dial phones in the dealership. And the receptionist would call sales line 1 or sales call reception because there's no line 1. I had a pen sticking into the thing, so I dive over the desk, knock the pen out, and then it would dial as I picked it up and hope it was the first person. I'm not seeing that today. And what do you see, John? Because you go into dealers obviously a lot.
Yeah, and honestly, the lack of intensity. I hate to use the word laziness, but that's the right word. And it's they're fast. They're making a lot of money in the world right now. I think the lack of inventory is more of an excuse sometimes. I think the intensity's still got to be there. I mean, every single customer is important. They need to and again, that like you said, that comes from training. It comes from even when I was a general manager of the store, I would take it up if I had to. Or if it's to be, it's up to me. I mean, that's how I felt. I always felt that way. And you want your team around you to feel that same way. And if everybody they're all aligned with that same mission, you're not going to have customers go around the
And I'll make you bet you had dirty shoes from washing cars too, because you didn't even get a delivery, right? You remember that one. So, what message do you want to send out to people here at the show, people watching the AutoHub show? And just what message do you want to give out, not just about the show, business in general, even vision?
That's a great question. I guess the message is that right now, for a lot of folks in business, in the car business, things can start to get easy. I lazy, but things are easy right now. Some are using the opportunity to really improve and enhance their processes, whether it's analytics or it's training, and all they kind of go hand in hand. I worry for those that aren't taking action to do those things right now. Things eventually don't have to get away, whether it's economically or just there's dirt with inventory again, and there's margin compression comes back and those things don't prepare. Short memories, you can forget what you have to do to survive, and it goes back to that. I worry for those that are still back right now. So focus on your business now while you have the time and the resources financially to make an improvement, so you're ready for that phase of the business.
It's funny. I'm of the opinion, and every time I say this, it just shoots me down. But I do believe that overnight something's going to happen. Like not tonight, obviously, but overnight, all of a sudden, plants are going to open up because I know everybody's opening chip plants like they're going out of style, and not all of a sudden, but suddenly dealers are going to say, we're giving product. And by the way, if you want a Lightning, you're going to have to take 27 F-150 XLT two-wheel drives. And, it's a good point. We got to be prepared. It is too easy. I don't mean to pick on people that try to be positive, but, every time you do this, I know Ian, but he tried to buy a car, and boy, oh boy, it took him, a car guy, it took him a year to buy a car. because people weren't bothered with it, and they knew him. They knew him personally. Tell me what about yourself? What big thing you want to see here for people, for recommendations from the show?
Well, what I want to say is to your audience and everybody out there is, I want to first of all say thank you to everybody that's referred anybody to me. I'd love to continue that. I'd love to help all of you with your businesses if I can. And as far as the show, I mean, again, we talked about, be real positive, be open-minded. You need as many people out there as you can. Really look at what their businesses are offering the dealerships, because there's a lot of neat concepts here. I think we're going to find again, just don't be closed-minded, because I think closed-minded are going to get left behind.
Well, you're right. There's so much stuff here. Like I walked around yesterday. I've only been here today. I've been on break. It's intimidating. Like there's some places you walk in, and if I was a dealer, I would turn and walk away because it's like, man, this is a nice group. They got some good stuff. How do they afford it? and John, actually, you mentioned referrals. So, what would you say to the dealership to teach them about referrals? Because we all talk about salespeople. We all talk.
Hey, there's Melanie.
Hello, Melanie. Don was just saying how much he likes you, how he has to come and visit you, and he admires you, and he thinks you're the nicest person on the earth.
Hey, Melanie, come here.
Come on.
Well, she told me she was going to give me a hug, so I might as well do it on a live podcast.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, this is live.
Exactly.
So good to see you.
Melanie Borton, everybody. Live at NADA, the AutoHub show. So getting back to the boring stuff, now that we had a nice interview, you build your business on referrals.
Right.
And I know that I sat down with salespeople. You've done it until you're blue in the face. Ask for a referral. Deliver a car. Do you like how I treated you? Great. Do you know anybody looking? Oh, you don't? Okay. Bye.
Actually, what I would say not to do is don't hand your customer 35 business cards. Because I guarantee you they're going to get lost or they're going to throw it away. What I believe is stay in contact. And I think video is the way to do it. Send a video, thank you after they've left the store. I think video is everything. I mean, the reason I've risen to
Fame your
I hate that, right? Because I'm not. Honestly, it's just again, it's me. So I do those videos. I stutter, I stumble, sometimes I don't know what I'm going to say next, and it's just who I am. So when back in the late '90s, early 2000s, when I was selling cars, I had a flip phone, and I don't remember the grainy videos that you send with those, but I was doing that.
Oh, no, I never saw those. I've only been around long enough for that.
But I was sending out videos, and really just all I was saying is, hi, I'm Don Brady. I was introducing myself, and I might have a car behind me that they were interested in from an internet lead. And when they came into the store, it was different because they would walk in and they would walk up to me and say, hi, Don, thank you so much for sending that video. So after they left, then I sent them a video thanking them. And I think that memory was better than even a handwritten thank you card, which they should also do.
And what's really impressive is if you did it on a flip phone, it took them 45 seconds to 2 minutes to download that video.
Yes, so you had to make it short. I was 15 to 25 seconds is what I would try to do. What I love about social media is I'm memorable. It's not about being. I'm not famous. I'm memorable. So as I walk around the show and I keep saying hi Don, hi Don, hi Don, it's because I'm memorable. I'm not a celebrity. Melanie Gordon, she's probably a celebrity.
She's a big time celebrity.
She's reached that status. I haven't, and maybe one day I will, but if I do, what they're going to get at the end of the day is the same humble Don Brady that they saw 2 years ago.
Well, I don't know if you get picked for the drive the $2 million electric car down through Germany, and you're going to be doing it with I don't know, Schwarzenegger. I think you might change.
I would probably go. I would do that.
Who would turn that down? So Peter, you know, as we're slowly wrapping up here, you're obviously a vendor here, and you got to do it. And how do you make yourself stand out from everybody else? Because there probably isn't any other analytics company here. There's probably no other tech companies here. So, you know, there's nobody to compete against. But actually, it's funny. I really believe the car business, especially with companies like Tesla, Rivian, is less about cars and more about tech. And you know, how many of these would you almost experience if that car runs out of battery? There's nothing. You can't even shift it into neutral to push it off the road, can you?
It's not quite as easy.
It's not quite as easy. So sorry, Peter. How do you stand out? How do you get your message across? And not, you know, your product. And honestly, I don't know your product. I've heard it's super awesome. But how does one go about doing that?
It's, again, I was talking about relationships, so it's not, it's like, there's flashing everything out there. It goes well beyond the platform. It's what backs the platform. Remaining nimble as a company, and the knowledge of people that we bring on board, and we're very careful what positions with that can bring value with their knowledge of the industry, sharing that knowledge. And it's not always a consulting fee or we charge this for an hour on the screen share. It's, we're going to back what we offer with our knowledge and support and be a part of it. That takes time to develop that. The business is when that way stays. That's kind of how we're growing organically.
And it's very true because the business, while turning very techy, is also turning into real business. And you know, we're losing the days of the second and third generation dealer. And you know, we've been with Chevy for 112 years, and you know, when this show was about stuff you can touch, stuff you can feel. You know, not about numbers. Right next to us is the Kurt Reynolds Bandit truck. Like, how awesome is that? But it's definitely not the car business. So thank you. Gentlemen, I thank you both very much for taking the time to join us. It was an absolute pleasure to meet you. I quite enjoyed it. If you have anything, my favorite thing was parting comments. Anything you want to add any additional value other than ship your car now?
Well, I just want to say again, thank you for letting me come on the show, and thank you for all your viewers out there. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. Thank you.
And yourself?
Just to thank you. It's a great community. It's a big community, but sometimes it's very small and intimate at the same time. And just great people. I love being part of it. And thanks for having me here today.
Well, thank you very much. And my final saying other than you know, come check out the AutoHubShow.com, and of course on various platforms, is the best thing about the car business is this. It's a life, and I think you'd agree. Anybody you know that's tried to get out of it comes back into it, and it's not because it's easy, because it's the same as it ain't easy. But thank you very much. Thank you again. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody out here. And I hear there's a guy here who's street buying ADs. He said, we got to talk. Thank you. Thank you for being in the quality booth, too. Thanks.